The year is 1964. Can you imagine having to fight to get into a public beach? Look at the brothers and sisters in Florida. My wife and I enjoyed our trip to Florida, and I wanted to put this out front so you guys can see what we did. There was some 15 beaches that they integrated and had to fight. The last picture that's going to come up is this guy pouring acid in a pool. Just imagine. Fort Mose, or Fort of the Moors, first free African settlement in this country right here. Africans were here since 1500s. This is where me and my wife started our journey in Georgia.
All right, we're at Fort Mose, or Fort of the Moors, here in St. Augustine, Florida. We know there's so much information I'm going to share with you on this Fort of the Moors, but I'm laughing because I was here over 20 years ago, and I want to just thank Florida. I want to thank these people of St. Augustine, the people that put this together. Now they have a whole center here, and around this. When I came here over 25 years ago, none of this was here. There was just a little plaque that said Fort Mose, you know. So, I can't turn this thing around. All right, still in St. Augustine, St. Paul AME Church, 85 Central Avenue, Lincolnville. Lincolnville, of course, is the black neighborhood. And this is, let me back up off St. Paul AME right here. St. Paul AME. As you know here, according to his divine light to each of us, God has given a talent, some to lead, some to follow, some to build. In January 1904, plans were made to build in the present church. Reverend E.F. Williams is remembered as architect and builder. He uttered these words at the groundbreaking: "Upon this spot, God's church is built, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." Thus, the legacy continues. The great models of leaders, followers, and builders propelled this church into the center of the civil rights movement of the 1960s. In St. Augustine, it was physically and spiritually appropriate to convene mass meetings here. This was the site of spirited speakers, prominent among whom were Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his colleagues, Reverend Ralph D. Abernathy, Hosea Williams, and Reverend Andrew Young. Executive directors of this SCLC and Field Marshal Willie M. Bolden. Their fortuitous visit of 1964 fostered the passage of the Civil Rights Act. From these convenings of hopeful souls for civil equality could be heard exaltations of Christian yearnings and the serene echoes of "We shall overcome." And here, they're talking about King being here. I'm telling you, one of the areas, this area, St. Augustine and Florida itself is really not covered to me in the black history. Here we go with the black Catholic heritage. Let me see if I get over there without killing myself. Yeah, I got you. This block of property owned by the Catholic Church contains 3 historic buildings that embody an important part of African American heritage of St. Augustine. It was part of the Yalahala Orange Grove plantation before the Civil War and was conveyed to the church by the Dumas family in 1890. The first building constructed in 1898 was a school, originally called St. Cecilia, later St. Benedict. It is the oldest surviving brick schoolhouse in St. Augustine, with a tower and original wraparound porch. It was a landmark of Victorian architecture. It was the gift of Mother Catherine Dexter, a wealthy Philadelphia heiress who founded the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament for Indians and colored people and established more than 60 parochial schools around the country. On October 1st, 2000, Pope John Paul II named Mother Drexel a saint, and 2 St. Augustines attended the canonization ceremony at the Vatican. The Sisters of St. Joseph, a teaching order that was brought here in 1866, operated St. Benedict School. They were involved in a celebrated civil rights case when on Easter Sunday, 1960, 3 of the nuns, sisters, Mary Thomason, Harry Marion, and Sullivan. Upstairs continued on the other side. It's a big flag. And American West Cameron were arrested for violating a 1913 passed Florida law that made it a criminal offense for whites to teach in a black school. So now the nuns go to jail for teaching the black folks in a black school. They were released when a judge ruled that the law did not apply to private schools. After serving many generations of students, From kindergarten through 8th grade, St. Benedict School was closed in 64 when local Catholic schools were integrated. St. Benedict's the Moore Church on the north end of the property was begun in 1909 and completed in 1911. It was designed by the Savannah architects and all of that. St. Benedict's the Moore, we see here, the constructed in 19 and for many years housed the Josephite fathers of the Baltimore who pastored here. Dr. King also visited the rectory in 1964, I guess so, because here we got St. Benedict, we got St. Paul sitting here. King's right across the street at St. Paul's, 1964. He comes across, he just walks across the street. He's over here. He just walks across the street over to here, and he's at St. Benedict's the Moore, which is the black, you know, in case you don't know, St. Benedict the Moore is supposed to be the saint, what they call the patron saint of the African Americans and the African people. And I'm going to try to get a zoom up close on that to see if they have what kind of features they got on St. Benedict. So here we are, St. Benedict's the Moore. Now, how do you prove anything? And this is my lovely part right here. How do I prove anything? We know it's the black neighborhood. We know St. Benedict's the Moore is in the black neighborhood. We know he's a patron saint. But it's on the corner in Lincolnville. Here's the street sign, y'all. Here's the street sign. Lincolnville is the neighborhood. Can I go that up? Lincolnville is the neighborhood. It's on the corner of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and St. Francis Street. And we know that every single Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. street, avenue, or road is running into and through the black neighborhood. And here's St. Benedict's the Moore. 23 years ago, I was down here working, and I actually went to a church service here inside. It was exactly 23 years ago here inside St. Benedict's the Moore's church. So I'm gonna see, can I zoom up and see the features? Here's St. Benedict's up top. Back. You guys gotta have your Virgin Marys. There he is right there. There he is right there. St. Benedict's the Moore. I'm gonna go ahead and see, can I enlarge him? Still in historic Lincolnville Historic District, still in St. Augustine. And I'm right here. This is, like I said, I'm still right up the street from the church. I'm right up the street from where I was a minute ago. This says, once the site of Indian villages, colonial plantations, and orange groves, Lincolnville began as a settlement of emancipated, mind you, free slaves in 1866. African Americans who traced their origins to the city's 16th century, going back to the 1500s. They went. This is blacks going back to the 1500s, played a role in getting all this set up down here. Dr. King also came down. This is the same way like I talked about. He was in this area in 1964, and very historic stuff. Again, the Floridians seem to be getting left off of the whole civil rights, they get left out of the historical section. I don't hear them talking about them there. I don't hear nobody talking about the Floridians and the blacks and what they did down here during civil wars, but they did a bunch. What they did prior to that, the 1500s, but they did a bunch with the 410. So I'm just, looking at the brothers down here and see what they're doing. All right. I'm at the Bess Richardson African Diaspora Museum and Books, still in St. Augustine. We be Gullah Geechee anointed people. We're gonna step into this building right here, and we're gonna meet Miss Beth. All right, so we're in the building now, and we want to introduce you. Say hi, this is Miss Beth Richardson.
Hello, how are you?
And she is the curator here at the museum. I just want to let y'all know now, I done bought some books up in here. Y'all know how I do. I done bought some books. But she has given us the full tour. Her husband,
Skip Richardson.
Skip Richardson, doing like me, weaving from around the corner. But I just want to show y'all real quick, and that's all I do. So I'm showing them how to work my cap cuts while I'm doing this one too.
Okay.
So the museum is down here. They have a beautiful building. Say, okay, what's the address, Beth?
83 Washington Street.
83 Washington Street. There's a museum. She's got some of the most powerhouse books in here. If you lose your mind in here. At least I did. Nobody, you might not lose yours, but I lost mine. Then over here for sale. Are the books in the museum aren't for sale at all? Are they?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now over here is the books. And they got signed and bought 2 books. And here, y'all bought a book for $80. That'd lost my mind. But she's got the Phyllis Wheatley's. Look what I'm saying she's got up in here. The Phyllis Wheatley's. She's got the stuff. They have the stuff. I'm gonna say they. Cause whew. All right, off to the next stop. First Baptist Church, St. Augustine. The 1960s Civil Rights Movement. Congregation and its pastor, Reverend J.J. Missick, gave support, which allowed mass meetings to be held, engaged the leadership of the NAACP and later the SCLC, including Dr. Martin Luther King and the movement. General Eubanks, a local college student, was elected president of the council, and local Dennis D.R. Hailing served as advisor. For these pioneering efforts, this church is considered the cradle of the civil rights movement in St. Augustine. I'm telling y'all, look at this church. First Baptist. All right, St. Augustine, on the Freedom Trail of St. Augustine, the Rudy Carlisle building. Getting ready to go inside Civil Rights Museum. Rudy Carlisle, Civil Rights Museum. I'm going in. All right, here I am. Well, here we are, as you see over St. John's Bluff. We're at Fort Caroline. Tracing that history back. Brother Menendez came into St. Augustine, said that here, the French came here to Fort Caroline and set up, they set up the first setup, and then the Spanish came and got it from them, and the British, and they just battled for it. But my man Menendez, I'm gonna let you see the date here, 1564, Captain Rene de Landinier or something, can't pronounce it, arrived in what he's calling the New France. Brother Menendez says that in 1564, that when this guy arrived, he had Africans on the ship. And it says that in statements from St. Augustine, that, but I came up here to see if it was anywhere, but it's not written anywhere up here. Does it mention the Africans that was aboard that ship? But 1564, people, the Africans was aboard that ship, Fort Caroline. Right here. Say happy.
Hello.
All right, here we go. Jacksonville, downtown Jacksonville, 1960 Civil Rights Demonstration. Now I'm actually in Jacksonville. The other day we was in St. Augustine, but I want to definitely stop through Jacksonville and touch up just a little bit. Jacksonville's this is a beautiful downtown. Beautiful city. But this is talking about August 27, 1960, 40 youth council demonstrators from the Jacksonville branch of the NAACP started to sit in. They sat in at 2 different spots, and where did it say was that? W.T. Grant's, and then the Woolworths, and yeah. So these boys, I keep trying to tell y'all, no matter where I go, and I find my people, and I want to thank these cities for putting up these signs. Everywhere I go, I want to thank the cities. This one city, Jacksonville, the other day, St. Augustine, these places in Florida. Like I say, Florida gets left out a lot as far as what they did civil rights wise. But I'm telling you, everywhere we went and everywhere we are in these time periods, this is when things were jumping up. Still in Jacksonville, we're talking about the Jacksonville Great Fire of 1901. And the reason I'm talking about this fire is because the situations for black people here in Jacksonville changed after this fire. I did a little investigating and found out that you know, as brothers lost their businesses too in this fire. Brothers had businesses and all that, black men had businesses and everything, and they got burnt out in this fire too. And after the fire, their citizenship was reduced. They weren't able to rebuild. A whole lot of things went wrong. So just want to let you know that hey, this Jacksonville fire, it really was a turning point for a long time for the black folks, and it was moved them to start, in a more civil rights type thing later on.